Good morning, everyone. This is a very exciting morning in Los Angeles, exciting morning in the 1-5. Yesterday afternoon, President Biden's senior advisor, Mitch Landrieu, gave me a call, and he said that California had been awarded this $1.2 billion grant funding for hydrogen in the state of California, and we know out of the $1.2 billion, a large sum will come to Los Angeles. This brings us, that's right. This brings us one step closer in advancing our clean air goals. This would not be possible without the state partners, Governor Newsom and ARCHES. ARCHES stands for the Alliance for Renewable Clean Hydrogen Energy Systems. That's a mouthful. For all of their efforts in putting the application together, and the people standing with me today who all play a part in our effort to accelerate Los Angeles toward our clean air goals like zero emission port and a 100% clean energy LADWP. Gene Soroka, the executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, look at our beautiful port, and Aram Benjamin, chief operating officer for LADWP, you will hear from shortly. And standing behind me are our important labor leaders and partners. I had to take a minute so I could get my pen. From ILWU 13, the Los Angeles Orange County Building Trades, IBEW, and our marine terminal operators, all of whom will be putting this new hydrogen funding to use and cleaning and creating more jobs. Thank you for all of the work that you do to keep our port running and keep our lights and power on around Los Angeles. Today is a special day for California, for Los Angeles, the Los Angeles DWP, and for the Port of Los Angeles and Long Beach, which together comprise the nation's largest seaport complex. The money we are receiving will help to create a hydrogen hub, which will further our efforts to help seed a robust green hydrogen market to assist in the pursuit of zero-emission operations. We know that we must protect and improve the health of communities directly impacted by the port related emissions and work toward a greener future while also ensuring that we create good paying clean jobs. And now the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, which together comprise the nation's largest seaport complex, will receive a portion of the state funds to advance the use of hydrogen fuel in goods movement. This money will be given to the Port of LA to transition more trucks and cargo handling equipment to zero emissions and to LADWP as they convert one of their natural gas plants to a clean hydrogen plant. This is a team effort, and together we are locking arms with the state and federal governments in order to create a cleaner and safer Los Angeles for all. Thank you all for being a part of this amazing funding opportunity and for playing a part in transforming Los Angeles. And now it's my pleasure to bring forward the councilman from the great 1-5, Councilman Tim McCosker.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much, Mayor. My name is Tim McCosker, Councilman of the 1-5, and I say it everywhere, so I might as well say it here. Why the 1-5? One district, 5 beloved communities. I'm proud to represent Watts and Harbor Gateway and Harbor City and Wilmington and my hometown of San Pedro. And today benefits not only the entirety of the 1-5, the entirety of the city of Los Angeles, the entirety of the region, and the world. So much has gone into this effort, and there have been years and years of different community groups and nonprofits, our partners in labor, the ILWU 13, 63, 94, our friends in the building trades have all leaned in to make sure that we can put together this application. Again, it's been businesses and labor and community groups, and I would want to point out Terry Tamanin, who's the executive director of Altasea here, who has also spent a lot of time, effort, and work on this. What today gives us is the opportunity to join with our mayors, Mayor Richardson and Mayor Bass, and the leadership that they put together at the ports of Long Beach and LA, so that the San Pedro Bay complex, together working with community groups and again working with our partners in labor and working with our businesses, can actually get that another giant step towards decarbonization. and it is critically important for us to decarbonize the San Pedro Bay. It's also critically important for us to know, and we all know, I think everyone here knows, that we do not have to choose between a good economy, good jobs, and a clean environment. We can and we will do both. We will do both because we will ensure that our business partners and we'll ensure that our labor partners are working together to make sure that we are cleaning up these engines, cleaning up the environment, and hanging on to these great jobs and building even more jobs. Because there's going to be a lot of work for the trades, and there's going to be a lot of work for the women and men who move these goods. I could not be more excited and cautiously optimistic that we get it right. We will get it right. So thank you. God bless you.
Let me now bring up our Deputy Mayor for Energy and Sustainability, Nancy Sutley.
Thank you very much, Mayor, and thank you all for being here, and thank you for this great day. There's a number of important projects in the city of Los Angeles that this hydrogen hub will help to support. In applying for this funding, we committed to use green hydrogen, hydrogen that's derived from renewable energy sources such as wind and solar. And we had the support of the City Council to have DWP and POLA work together to secure this funding. There's a number of projects that we expect this funding to support for Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, the modernization of its scattergood generating station, one of the oldest on its system, and LADWP is proceeding with its project to upgrade this power plant to hydrogen-capable turbines. These will provide reliability, resiliency, and clean energy. It is in its environmental review, and we expect it to be completed later this decade. The port projects, they're working with the Port of Long Beach to use hydrogen and hard-to-electrify equipment to reduce smog and carbon pollution from cargo handling equipment, and in later phases, trucks and ships. In this, we've committed to the strongest environmental standards and working with the community, and we will continue our extensive outreach with community-based organizations, environmental organizations, to ensure everybody is a part of the process. We do this as part of the ARCHES organization that was created by the state of California, a public-private partnership, which is California's hydrogen hub, and it's developing a diverse portfolio of clean energy solutions. They noted that a major deployment cluster for the hydrogen hub will be here in Los Angeles, decarbonizing power plants, ports, and trucks. And the ARCHES process is committed to providing community benefits, workforce development, and high labor standards, and has also committed to providing 40% of the funding to disadvantaged communities. So we look forward to working together, to continuing to work with ARCHES to ensure those projects are funded and are built here in Los Angeles. And it's my honor to introduce the Executive Director of the Port of Los Angeles, Jean Soroka. Thank you.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Sutley, and good morning, everyone. It is a great day for California, the city of Los Angeles, and our port complex. 6 years ago, at this very site, the cities and ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles announced the bold ambition to be the first in the world of zero-emissions cargo handling equipment and zero-emission trucks. And how far we've come. Today's announcement truly is that major step toward the zero-emission goal and toward decarbonizing the entire maritime supply chain. Over the past 5 years, the port complex has been a hydrogen test lab, partnering with our tenants, longshore labor, original equipment manufacturers, and the state of California to conduct demonstrations of zero-emission hydrogen fuel cell electric equipment in demanding real-world conditions here at the port. With the funding being made available through the Department of Energy's Hydrogen Hub grant, these demonstrations and valuable lessons that we have learned will quickly evolve into wider port investment that will create immediate health benefits for our local and regional communities and give us the chance now to accelerate this much-needed green technology advancement. I want to thank Secretary Granholm, the entire Biden-Harris administration, Governor Newsom, Dee Dee Myers, and all with GoBiz, along with the Arches participants in this statewide effort. And of course, our Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, the City Council, Councilman McCosker for his efforts around that horseshoe, and the Department of Water and Power, the City and Port of Long Beach, with which we are inextricably linked in this goal to be the first in the world to attempt this and accomplish the green technology. And with that, I'd like to introduce one of our key partners and friends, Aaron Benyamin, who is the Chief Operating Officer at the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Mayor Bass, thank you for your leadership. You are making a huge difference in moving us to a zero carbon economy. And I know the council member had a question mark. I guarantee you we're going to get there with the leadership and all the support that you see in this town, and we're going to get there. As we are moving towards a zero carbon economy, we have some really great milestone that I'm more than happy to report on. LA was 50% coal 15 years ago. Next year, Los Angeles will be zero coal in the portfolio. We will be reducing more than 6 million tons of emissions. That's equivalent of taking more than 1 million cars off the road by next year. So as we achieve that goal, we are putting in the leading technology in hydrogen creation and hydrogen use in very state-of-the-art, low-emission turbines in one of the generating stations feeding the Los Angeles grid. As our deputy mayor mentioned, we are repowering the most polluting in-basin generation, and we are on our way to procure over $1 billion worth of state-of-the-art equipment to make sure that that is ready to support the plans that Gene mentioned in electrification of the port and the entire operations in the south of the Los Angeles area. We're also spending billions of dollars modernizing the grid and rewiring our system in order for us to be ready for the electrification and making sure our buildings, our transportation sector, and our infrastructure is ready to accept the transition to electric economy, and we make sure that we get to 0% emission in every sector of our economies. And we'll provide that benefit to our residents and make sure that our city is leading not only the United States, but we're leading the world in these technologies. Lastly, I just want to thank the mayor again. Your leadership made this happen, and we guarantee that we will use those funds to take the pressure off of our ratepayers to make sure that we accelerate our deployment. We put that money to good use, and we will get this thing done. And also thanks to Governor Newsom, our Deputy Mayor Nancy Sutley, and Paul Habib for really working very, very hard to make everything work. And thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Only three?
Test.
So, first one is for Mr. McCosker. Excuse me. First one is for Mr. McCosker. You say you were cautiously optimistic. What causes you to be cautious about this?
I'll tell you what causes me to be optimistic about this is that we have the ability to bring together the Port of Long Beach, the Port of LA, the two mayors who are very, very close to one another, the leadership of both ports, DWP, and it needs to be at the table, and the City Council. So we have a lot of moving parts. This is our opportunity for everybody, as the mayor has said over and over again about locking arms. We've been locking arms on another important existential crisis. We need to lock arms on this one as well. But we need to make sure we stay vigilant every single day. The councils have to work together, the mayors have to work together, and the two ports have to work together to make sure that we can bring this ship home.
And so the caution is whether or not all of these entities can actually work together in the same sandbox.
Whether we will keep the sustained vigilance that it's going to require day after day after day. Just as this team has put together such a great application and brought the brought the money to Los Angeles. We need to make sure that we spend it in the way that we said we would.
Thank you. To the director of the port of LADWP, how much of this is going to go towards the Scattergood plant, and exactly if the DWP was going to get to complete zero emissions, how much more money would it take for your department to do that?
A lot.
Give us an estimate.
Depending on what technology we use, we are already putting about $1 billion to repower the power plants. We have 2 more power plants to repower, so about that amount is going to go to repowering those. We have several billions dollars for the transmission system that we have to put in. So as we are putting the best fit technologies, we are making incremental changes. This carbon reduction that we have at our power plant in Utah, that's cutting our emissions in half in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So we are cutting 6 million tons in 1 year. We're going down to 50% off next year, and then the rest of the carbon emissions that we have on the generation, on the utility side, will be incrementally moved forward, and hydrogen is a very critical part of that.
Got it. Now, for the Port of Los Angeles, they've got a goal of getting to zero emission, and yet the grid for the Port of Los Angeles, the electrical grid that you're in charge of, is not yet capable of handling that. What is the timeline for the completion of that grid, so that when the port brings on all of this zero emission technology, are you going to be able to help them make the 2030 and the 2035 timeline?
The answer is yes. We are planning on infrastructure on our side to be able to support the port. Within the port itself, I mean, it's going to take a lot of rewiring of the systems that we have in the port. That's another portion of it, and then also the technology for the equipment that currently is using fossil fuel to transition those.
And do you have the budget to do that? Oh, sorry. Well, I wasn't counting. It's all one.
I can talk to you
it's actually
offline.
all one. If somebody else have a question?
Good answer. Could somebody explain a little bit about the process for spending this money and how that's going to play out, whether specific projects and proposals need to be made by the different sectors, and how long this is going to take?
So the Department of Energy awarded this morning a number of these hydrogen hubs, the California one called Arches. So as part of the application to the Department of Energy, they listed a number of important projects that would receive this funding. So now the process is that Arches and the Department of Energy will kind of work out the schedule for distributing the money, for making sure that the projects are moving forward and that they are funded. So the Department of Energy has said this will roll out over a number of years in phases. So but we'll get to work immediately within the next week or so to start the discussions about how all of this money will flow out.